is called as design with rigidity consideration. Now this property that it should not stretch beyond certain limit, this is a property which is talking about a rigidity. That means you are trying to give importance to the rigidity. So here the design is made with the criteria of rigidity consideration. Okay. Then here the next is breakage. That means we don't want the part to break. So that way if you think, that means when the part will break, just now we have seen a graph like this. Sometimes back we have seen a graph like this. And then we say at a particular state, within certain limit, it is behaving in a proper manner, and if you still increase the stress, then it is going to break. So if you are talking about a breakage, then you are taking into consideration the measurement of stress. So the criteria is stress. That means you are measuring here stress and you are putting the limit. For failure, you are putting the limit of a stress. That means the stress should not exceed certain value. That is your way of measurement. Here, the criteria was the stretching should not be beyond 1%. Okay? Here, stretch, let's say it should be less than 1%. Example. So the stretching should not be more than 1% is the criteria here, which is called the design with rigidity consideration. And here, stress should be less than the stress, that is, it is called the induced stress. The stress that is developed, induced stress. So when I apply load on the part, whatever stress is going to develop here, that stress I want to be below the breaking stress. So I'll call here as Ft. F is a stress and I'll call it breaking. And this I am calling as F induced. Correct? In a simple language, that the stress that is going to be induced here on the part, I am keeping it below the breaking stress so that it will not break. And this is called as, like here, design with rigidity consideration. This is called as design with stress consideration. So design with stress consideration and design with rigidity consideration, they are the two ways. They are the two ways in which the design is carried out, either by this way or by this way. Okay? So now let's say we really want to do this by both ways and find out the size D. Then how we will do that? So now what we see, I'll just show it here itself. Now for the first case, rigidity, design for rigidity. Now here I will say that Young's modulus E is equal to, all of you know this, stress upon strain. What is stress? In this case, P upon area. P upon area is the stress, and strain is change in length upon original length. This is change in length. Whatever is the change in the length upon the original length, that is the strain. Now as you know, material, just now we have seen the material is selected, that means E is now final. For this material, for a particular material which is decided, it has got its own E. So this value we know. Now length of the rod is given, so that is also known. How much percentage increase which is permissible, that is also known. How much load is applied, that is also known. Now what is A? A is the area. Now what is area in this case? Pi d squared by 4. This is the area. So the area of the rod is pi d squared by 4. So now if you see this equation, in this equation on the left hand side there is E which you know. On the right hand side everything you know except D. So you can find out D equal to how much? That is the size of the rod, diameter of the rod. If you provide this much size as the diameter of the rod, then for this material, for this load, it will withstand the load and it will not stretch beyond this limit. And we have designed the rod considering the rigidity. Now the next. Design for stress. Let us design the rod with stress consideration. This one, stress consideration. Now what it says? You have to bring into picture the stress. Now how do you bring into picture the stress? You know that the stress is equal to force upon area. Okay, so in this case stress is F and then force is P that you have applied and the area is pi d squared by 4. Here this is the equation. That means the load is given. Here D is not given. We have to find out D. That means this has to be given. Then everything will be given except D and you can find out D. Now what is the stress here? Now here what is the stress means? You have to think about this graph of stress versus strain. Now which value of stress you are going to take? If you take the breakage value which is here, then what happens? If you do like that, then the diameter what you are going to select will be the one which is just at the verge of breaking. So any small error in the size, that will result into breakage. So there is no safety because you have done everything with the final stress, last stress, breaking stress, which is not safe. So here, and moreover, you are entering into the region which is not a elastic limit. That means the load if you remove, then the part is not going to come to its original position. That means this portion is of no use. That means any value of stress in this part is of no use because the part is not, it may not fail, but it will not come back to its original position. So any value of stress in this region is not allowed. So which value you will allow? This is the stress. This you can allow. So this stress is what you are going to take for the purpose of design. But here also what we are going to do is we are going to apply some factor of safety, it is called as, so that we are even more safe. So what we are going to do is we are going to take, suppose 50% as the factor of safety. Now we are going to decide or talk about factor of safety separate. But at the moment just think of something called as a factor of safety. 50% means you want your design to be double sure. That means even if we can say that up to this stress everything is fine, we are not even using this stress, we are using 50% of this stress, half of this. So this is called as F. Now in this case it is a tensile stress, I'll write here T, and it is a design stress. That means the value of stress what you are going to take for the purpose of design is design stress, tensile type, and that value of design stress we are going to take 50% of the stress here within the elastic limit. So normally what happens, any material stress that is indicated, that stress is indicated, these stresses are never thought about much. So whenever a value of stress is given, it is this stress, and then we are applying 50% factor of safety and using this stress. So instead of using this stress, we are even taking the value less. That means we say that we don't want to increase the stress beyond this point. Although there is no problem in increasing, but still to be safe, we are making it 50%. So here 50% means it is stress is 50%. I will say factor of safety is 2 here. So it is double safe. You are reduced the stress by 50%. That means you have made it double safe. Factor of safety you have made it 2. It is two times safe. So the design stress you have selected is 50% of the stress that is at this point, elastic limit point. You can also call this as a yield stress. And this is design stress, already written here. So I'll say that if design is equal to 50% of F yield. So this is the way we have applied a factor of safety of 2 and made it 50% of the yield stress is our design stress. Now what we do? You take this value, so whatever material is selected, that material will have its own yield stress where the yielding starts, that means non-reversible situation starts. So to that yield stress we apply factor of safety 2, that means you divide it by 2 and that stress you make it even half, even less, 50%. And then this design stress value we use here, FT design. So we have selected a value of design stress much less than the yield stress to make it very, very safe. And for this stress, we are now going to apply this equation, and now you are going to find out D. And that D if you provide, then for this size, for this load, you will develop a stress in the material which is only this much, and it will be safe. Okay, it will be safe. So this is another approach that is called the design for stress. Design for stress consideration. Earlier we have seen design for rigidity consideration. That means any design process that is applied is of two types. So all the parts, this is the approach. That's why we call it approach. The design approach is of two types. Either you decide to design the machine or component or whatever by rigidity consideration, or you decide to design it by the stress consideration. Now for us, right now, as our syllabus says, we are talking about this type of consideration. We are only knowing that there is some such thing. There is a small example of that, but then our syllabus is not containing any such exercises or description of this approach of the design. So this approach of the design, only we know that there is some such thing and this is the meaning of that. Only this much we are expected to know. But how this is done for all the whole different types of design methods, that is something which is right now not in our scope. So for our scope, we are going to think about the design consideration with stress, and then what is described here. This is something which is what is supposed to be known to us. So we are going to talk about stress consideration of design for all the different things what we are going to do. Okay, so we have at the moment done this much, and now let's talk something more about what we have discussed here, factor of safety. What is the factor of safety and what does it do? Okay, so now let's talk about factor of safety, what it is. Factor of safety. Just now we have seen factor of safety is 2, so we have reduced the yield stress by 50% and then use that value as a design stress and done the rest of the work. Now I'll just first define what is factor of safety. I'll write here FOS. This is given as maximum stress upon the design stress. So in this example, FD, and this is something, variable maximum. Now what is called as maximum stress? That is variable. Now I'll write here for ductile material. If max is F yield. So what it means? If the material is ductile means something which can be stretched. Say like steel. Steel, if you go on in stretching, then it will stretch and then it will break. So the graph which we have drawn just now, see the graph was, I'll just draw that graph again. It will break here. So up to here it is the elastic limit, and then it will stretch further. It will not come back to its original position, but it will exist like this. And in this case, this is the yield stress Fy. So yield stress is taken as this value, up to which the graph is a straight line and up to which it is within elastic limit. So that is the yield stress that is taken here, and to that yield stress, if you divide by factor of safety, then you will get the design stress. Like in the last example, we have decided that the factor of safety, let it be 2. So you divided the yield stress by 2. That means you make it half, and that was our design stress last time. Okay. Now for what is the other material which is not ductile? For brittle. For brittle material, F max is F ultimate stress. That means, now first of all, what is the graph for this? What is a brittle material? Brittle material is something which doesn't stretch at all. If you take, let's say, cast iron. Now all of you know what is cast iron. We have seen that in the foundry. We have a pattern, and in that pattern we make a mold, and then we pour the material, and then the part that is made, that is called the cast iron part. Now cast iron is the part which is made in such a way that it is not having a property of stretching. Suppose you make a cast iron rod, a rod of cast iron, and that rod, if you try to apply load, then that rod will not stretch and then bend. No, it will break immediately. Whenever the stress increases beyond certain point, which is this point, it will break. So another example is chalk. Now all of you know example of a chalk. Everybody knows what is a chalk. So if you take a chalk and you go on stretching that chalk, will the length of the chalk increase? The length of the chalk will not increase. The moment stress goes beyond certain point, then it will break into two parts. If you put these two parts together, the length what you will get will be the same length what it was before. So here the maximum stress is the ultimate stress. That is the maximum stress what it can withstand, ultimate stress. Beyond that, the curve doesn't exist for a brittle material. This is of course stress versus strain, and this stress for brittle, and this for ductile. Brittle material and ductile material. And then these are the things which are to be taken as the maximum stress, and then you apply the factor of safety. So having known what is the factor of safety, what is the factor of safety? It is a factor which decides how much safe you are going to be. So in the last example, we wanted to make it double safe, 2 times safe. So our system should be 2 times safe, so we have divided the maximum stress by 2, and that value we have taken for design last time. Okay. Now how this factor of safety is decided, that are the things now we are going to talk about. Selection of factor of safety. How do you decide how much is the value of factor of safety? That is the thing. Now first thing is, it depends on type of load. Depending on the type of load, we have to decide the factor of safety. And we are just now seeing type of load. What are the different types of loads? One is a static load, that means the load is constant all the time. Other is fluctuating load, the load keeps on changing. The third is the impact load, the load is very, very sudden, like that. So the chances of failure will be high in which case out of the 3? The chances of failure will be high in the case of impact load. They will be slightly lesser in case of variable load, and they will be very less in case of static load comparatively. That means in the graph you are coming down, see this is the yield stress, and then you are going to come down from yield stress to some value. Now how much down you are going to come, that depends on what factor of safety you are going to apply. If you apply factor of safety 2, that means you are coming 50% down. So you are going to take the design stress 50% of yield stress like last time. But depending on the type of load it changes. So I will write here, it is low for static, I will write here types of loads. The factor of safety is low for static and high for variable, and highest for impact. Because impact there is a lot of risk, so we are applying lot of factor of safety and we are taking the stress much less than the yield stress to make it very safe. Okay, then it depends on type of material also. Type of material. So for brittle, it is low, and for ductile it is low, and for brittle high. Now why ductile is low? Ductile material is relatively safe. That means it will give some chance for you. Even if the load increases beyond certain value, beyond limit, still there is some safety. You can call this as safety because it will not totally break. It will only increase the stress and it will be non-reversible. In case of brittle material, it will not give you any chance. Once the stress crosses certain point, it is going to break, which is very, very risky. So now what we have to do is, we have to apply factor of safety very high so that you will not reach here. In the normal condition, even if something happens and the load suddenly increases beyond our expectation, still there is a lot of scope to be safe. So the factor of safety is very high for brittle materials and it should be low for the ductile material relatively. It depends on cost. So how it is related to cost? Now this will show by graph. This graph is increasing. That means as the factor of safety increases, your cost is going to increase. Now why it is so? Why the cost is going to increase? Because suppose in this case a rod, we have applied some factor of safety. That means we have applied some stress. We have taken some value of stress.